To handle productions.
Proverbs chapter 11 verse 18 says, "The wicked worketh a deceitful work, but to him that soweth righteousness shall be a sure reward." What is the Bible trying to tell us here by working a deceitful work? Well, if you read in 1 Timothy chapter number 6, it says, "For the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith, and pierced themselves through with many sorrows." It goes on to say, "Flee these things, but thou, O man of God, flee these things, and follow after godliness, faith, love, righteousness, meekness, etc., etc." So we see here from the scriptures that money should not be the only motivation for the work that you do, or perhaps maybe the career choice that you make. Unfortunately, a lot of people in life feel as though they only have one option. Maybe sell drugs, for example. And for some women, it may be they can only be a stripper. But I'm here to tell you, my friends, that you have options. Don't just think about how do I get the lifestyle I want and what are the shortcuts I can take to get there, because sometimes that's going to blow up in your face. So I wanted to tell you that you have options to do the right thing, because the Bible says, "He that soweth righteousness shall be a sure reward." You understand? So somebody that does things the right way is going to be rewarded, versus the guy who does a deceitful work. Maybe he lies, or maybe he runs a scam, or maybe he steals and robs people. Or maybe he even goes so far as to commit murder to get the things that he wants. My friend, the Bible says that these people pierce themselves through with many sorrows. Do you realize that hell is filled with people who are weeping, wailing, and gnashing their teeth and regret? Do you realize that? Hell is full of people who have regrets. Because why? Because they worked a deceitful work. Just take, for example, Judas Iscariot. Judas Iscariot walked the walk, talked the talk, at least to the naked eye. To many people, he was a disciple of Jesus Christ, but in his heart, he was not. You understand the difference between somebody like Judas Iscariot and, say, somebody like Peter was that Peter was actually sincere, which is why he later confessed to Jesus and pretty much had his relationship restored to Jesus Christ after Christ was crucified and after he was resurrected. Hence, for the reason why Jesus asked Peter, "Simon Peter, son of Jonas, do you love me?" He asked him that 3 times. And every time Peter would respond, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you." But see, Judas Iscariot didn't get that. You know why? Because Judas was filled with so much regret and remorse that he took his own life for betraying Jesus Christ. And you know, the sad thing is that Judas did all this for money, for 30 pieces of silver. So I use that as an illustration to warn you that don't just do whatever for the money, because sometimes the money is not going to be worth it, and it could lead to death. I think about people like those people in the pornographic industry, the directors, the producers. They're producing iniquity. They're not enriching anyone's life. We don't need to watch people have sexual intercourse to know how to do that. You understand? That's a natural act. And it only feeds into the person's lust who are watching it, which could potentially progress into more perverse acts of sexual immorality. You understand? Because it doesn't stop there with just sexual intercourse between a man and a woman. Sometimes pornography degrades or goes down further degeneratively into worse and worse pornographic production, bestiality, or child pornography, or whatever you have it, rape, incest, You name it. Because why? Because people want to see the most extreme forms of anything. And for some, pornography is extreme. So this is why we would consider people who produce pornography to be workers of iniquity. Which is why I personally have chosen to stay away from that industry and instead try to pursue a normal, everyday job, which is something that anyone else would normally do. So, what does Jesus Christ want us all to do? He wants us to work righteousness. He wants us to do it the right way. And what a lot of people don't know is that, especially young people, and men in particular, that they feel as though selling drugs is the only thing or the only option they have to get a lot of money. But it's not. You can accumulate a wealth from just working a regular job, making $10 an hour. If you saved half your income with just $10 an hour, you could accumulate a fortune. Another thing that people don't think about is these two career choices like truck driving or the military, which pay for your schooling, and then at the same time they pay you. With truck driving as a young man, if you were to do that career choice, you would not only have your schooling paid for, but you would also be able to make potentially between $50,000 to $100,000 a year, and you could easily make a fortune from that if you play your cards right. Same with the military. The military, I didn't know what I wanted to do when I graduated high school, so I joined the military because they said, "Hey, well, we'll give you a sign-on bonus and we'll pay for your college." I said, "Dude, rock on. That's what I need. I need somebody to pay for my college because I'm not paying for that stuff. That stuff's expensive." So the military paid for my college and gave me the GI Bill after I got out. So you do have plenty of options here as a young man, even if you make bad decisions in your life and end up with like a felony record. You can still create your own business, have like a Craigslist. You can have like your own online business, like through Craigslist, eBay, Amazon, stuff like that. Be creative, and you can find income that way. But again, it shouldn't only be about the money. It should be about sowing righteousness. What is your work doing? And how is your work benefiting society or the church? Or how would God view the work that you do? Is it pleasing in His sight? These are questions you need to ask yourself, because you want to make sure that the work you're doing is not wickedness. You understand? Because, again, the severe repercussions or consequences to your actions, to the work that you do, could make you be held accountable. Not just here on earth and going to jail, but also in the spiritual sense. But that's really all I have, guys. Thanks for listening. God bless you. I'm Brian Price.